Hey queens and kings, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you guys are well and are keeping safe. Today we shall be reviewing the novel Brew by Khumalo. I bought my one from Exclusive Books. You can also get yours from Exclusive Books, or you can purchase it at any other bookstore really. Cool, so let's get into it. So firstly, Khumalo, let me just quickly tell you guys about him. Khumalo is born from Durban. He is a master's graduate in creative writing from the University of Witwatersrand. He is also a recipient of the Nieman fellowship from the Harvard University, and also the book that I will be reviewing today has won a European Union Literary Award. So yeah, this man is amazing and I'm so in love with this book. Oh my god, I can't wait to start reviewing it. So firstly, the novel is a romantic, it's a love story, and if you know me, I love love, so it's automatically a win for me. So yeah, so it's between two main characters, Uledi no Zakes. I'll also just touch on a bit on Bazabaza, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. Let's start with Zakes. Who is Zakes and what is he about? Zakes is a bootlegger. He is a thug, literally, and he is also a man that's very passionate about the jazz genre. He also plays instruments of his own. Zakes is really a bad boy. Like, if there was a guy that your parents used to warn you about, definitely Zakes. And then of course there's Uledi. Uledi is known as, or described in the book as, the Shebeen Queen. I like to think of Uledi as a free-spirited entrepreneur. And I'm having a glass of R&R. I'm not even supposed to be drinking, but hey. So I also just really enjoyed the writing style. I feel as though the characters are just so well developed, and you literally just get to understand them properly during the course of the read. So I'm just going to read for you 2 pages of when Zakes and Lettie met at the bus station. So just understand that the whole novel is written in a series of love stories, so it's like love letters to Uledi and Zakes. Cool. So yeah, okay, so this is from Uledi to Zakes, and it reads as follows. Zakes: it was late at night when the bus finally stopped at Durban station. We disembarked. For the umpteenth time, he offered to take me to a place for the night. It's too late now to go pounding on the streets of either Claremont or Khumalo. Spend the night at my place and we can wake up tomorrow and find the addresses you're looking for. I said no. Can you trust a man who travels around with only a small box to his name? A man who sells his clothes just because he hates to carry bags? A man who associates with those Marashia and their girls who throw their legs in the air for the whole world to see their panties and silvers of womanhood? Okay, fine, you said, bitterly. You're on your own. With those words, you started walking away hastily into the night. For a moment, I stood there with my 2 bags, looking this way and that, people bumping past me as they hurried to their respective bus ranks. Panic suddenly gripped me. I ran into the direction which you had disappeared. There were so many shadows crowding the pavement, I had no hope of spotting you. Tall buildings all around me, traffic noises drowned my thoughts. I stood there with my mouth agape. Zakes! Zakes! Where are you? I shouted. But my voice seemed to be drowned by the hum of traffic noises and voices of people bantering as they walked home. I turned to a man leaning against a lamppost. Mister, do you know where they park buses going to Coasterville? You mean Chesterville, ma'am? Oh, yes, Chesterville. That way, ma'am. If you can't find a bus, you can always come back to me. I'll be patiently waiting for you. I love your smile. I ran in the direction he had pointed out. When I got to the bus rank, I shouted unashamedly again, Zakes! Zakes! Where are you? Shut up, you bitch. You're breaking our eardrums, some men muttered. A figure broke out of the line of passengers ready to climb on the next bus. Listen, girl, he hissed. I made you a decent offer and you turned me down. Now don't go shouting my name at bus ranks. There are people who I don't want to see. Hey, Zakes, a voice said. A man approached us. I didn't realize you were back in town until your bitch shouted your name. What's happening, my brother? You turned to study the face in the darkness. Oh, Mateu, it's you. Yes, man, yes. Are you going to Blake's? I was later to learn that this was the affectionate name they had given Chesterville. Or are you hanging around town? I'm going home, man. What are you waiting for then? Come on the bus. The man led us to the head of the queue. Those who had been patiently waiting complained, but as I later learned, Mateu was the driver of the bus and a Fiat thug who could call the shots. The bus was packed with all well-dressed people. Most of them had that smell that reminded me of Tabiso. It seemed to me that after performing those heavy tasks at their various places of work, these people had taken the trouble to wash themselves and smothered bad work smells with this thing they called perfume. I noticed that several people were sitting comfortably in their chairs reading books. I suddenly remembered what Maggie had said about night school. I took a mental note to make sure that I registered at one of these schools as soon as possible so I could start reading my books on the bus. I wondered what friends and siblings back at home would say seeing me read a book inside a moving bus. Books were things to be read in the comfort of your classroom, at your desk, or in the warmth of your stationary bed, not inside moving buses. The city was amazing me already. Are you comfortable? He asked me. You had regained your cool. Our elbows touched. I felt a shiver run through my entire right side. Yes, I'm fine. I'm sorry about my behavior. No, it's okay. You have every right to be distrustful. You touched my knee in reassurance. Again, I shivered. Hey! It's a love story, guys. Okay, so that's how they met at the Devon station. And I mean, oh my god, this week just gets me so excited. Okay, let me calm down. So from those 2 pages alone, can you guys tell that something is about to brew between these two? Some sparks are flying. So this lifelong love affair between Uleti and Zakes that lasted so many years is what makes this book so interesting. And also Zakes and Lettie have dated other people prior to this, and when they actually met at the bus station, Uleti was pregnant with her first child. So I just really love this book. I love Zakes. Zakes turns me on. Zakes is exciting, man. Ooh, on another edge. So yeah, I know he's really a bad boy. And do I have a thing for bad boys? I don't think so, but if I did, he'd definitely be on top of my list. So let's dive into Zakes for a bit. Okay, so Zakes is a bootlegger, as I mentioned. He's a musician as well. He is a murderer. And what I like about Khumalo is that he does not shy away from those things. He does not shy away from revealing someone's truth or a character's truth. Like, there is no sugarcoating of events. He literally gives it to you as raw as possible, and I really just like that. When I was reading the book, I felt like I was there. I felt like I could see everything happening. I really just like how he wrote the novel in a way that, yes, a book is meant to give you or leave room for imagination, but he literally describes the events so well that he already paints a picture for you. Do you get what I'm saying? And then there's Uleti. Uleti is, so like I said, Uleti is described as the Shebeen Queen. Yes, she is, but she is also a single mother of multiple children. She is an entrepreneur and she's a traveler. You know, Uleti is really, like I said, she's a free-spirited person. And girl, Lettie is messy. And I'm gonna read you guys a passage of one of these scandals that Lettie was involved in, and the 2 pages that I'm going to read you will just reflect what kind of a friend Lettie was to Sis Jane. So let me find the pages and give it a go. Cool, found it, and it reads as follows. In life, young prostitutes dream of fast cars, fancy clothes and jewelry, and good food. The fast life. An old woman like Sis Jane, a woman who lived generously and all in sin her whole life, dreamt of a prince who would come to save her from the rigors of life. They would get married, get rich, and live happily ever after. To start preparing for this kind of life, Sis Jane was spending a lot of time at Dieter's house in New German. I envied her, but I felt shame caressing my face. How could I be jealous of a friend, an elder sister, one who'd taken me under her wing when times were tough and was almost like a mother to me? But such feelings of pity flew out of the window when Dieter came knocking on the door one day. For a moment I was puzzled by his arrival, because only the previous night he had come to fetch Sis Jane. Did Sis Jane leave something behind here that you want to come collect now? No, nothing of that sort. Where's everybody? He asked, after noticing that the house was quiet. Ah, all the girls have gone to town. Perfect, because we need to talk. He moved towards me, touched my hand, and didn't let go even when I tried to pull away. It's you that I've always wanted, Lettie. You. But I was disappointed that you had already had someone else's kid. After thinking hard, I don't think that matters anymore. After all, you've never seen the guy since giving birth. You're not keeping a place with me in your heart from what I have seen. You are lonely, quiet, humble, thoughtful. Just the woman I want. Go away, Dieter. You don't want to spoil what you already have. It's lust that's talking. Give me time, Lettie, and you'll see it's genuine love. It's just that Jane came onto me too heavily, drove me into a corner. All the things that we've done are for her own doing, her own design. She is such a powerful woman. She is driving the whole process. And I realize that I will live to regret what I am getting into. Go away, man. I tried to break away, but there was no determination in my movements. I wanted to be touched. I wanted to be held. There was a strange emptiness in my heart. For the first time in my life, I understood the meaning of loneliness. It was a feeling I had never felt before. A strong feeling that had a mind of its own. A feeling that was determined to influence how I reacted to Dieter's advances. So we ended up doing it on Sis Jane's bed. Rose walked in on us. Perhaps she had been in the house all along, for we never heard her coming home. We were busy on the bed when we suddenly saw her standing at the foot of the bed watching. There was a deep coldness in her eyes. Please, Rose, I stuttered. Don't tell Sis Jane, please. Dieter said, please, my girl, keep your mouth shut, and Uncle Dieter will make you happy. He fished out a handful of banknotes from his trouser pocket. Rose accepted the bills, but continued standing there, eyes cold and penetrating. Then she spat out, how could you? There was an adult, mature ferocity to her voice. That is what our girl Lettie did to Sis Jane. Phew! Hectic! Hectic! Heavy! Ah, what a mess! What a mess! Ah, Mara Lettie. Anyway, so after that scandal, guys, Lettie actually ended up having a child. So this was then her second child from Sis Jane's lover, Dieter. So yeah, man, our girl was just messy. She was messy. I felt that was a bit cold as well. You know, you don't take someone in, or you never really expect that a friend is capable of doing such to you, especially a friend that you've helped and looked after and considered as a sister. But hey, life happens, right? So cool, let's move on to Upaza Baza. think the name just says it all. Upazapaza Likinza, he's a thug. Like I said, Zakes is a thug, but Upazapaza is the thug. I really just wanna give you guys a full story, you know, of who Upazapaza is and how he became Upazapaza, because he was not always so hardcore. Upazapaza's real name is Utemba Dlamini, and he grew up with his mom. The dad was a mine worker and he was hardly ever at home, it states in the book. So Upazapaza, on this day that was just gonna turn his life around, there was a fight in Durban between the Africans and the Indians. And Upazapaza had told him, listen, stay away from the looting, stay away from the march. And Upazapaza didn't listen. This is the one time that he should have listened to his mom. And he didn't. He listened to his friend and they went to the march. And during that whole march and the looting of the Indian shops, an Indian shopkeeper got killed and one got injured. And now Upazapaza unfortunately was caught in the middle of that, even though he was not the perpetrator. They found him there, and then he was now then trialed and sentenced, and that's what changed his whole life. You know, so talk about being at the wrong place at the wrong time. So I'm just gonna read you guys just 2 passages that describe the hardcore Upazapaza. But you know, just keep in mind that he was not always this terrorist that they describe him as in the book, and that he was actually a child that just made the wrong choice that would change his whole life, really. So the 2 pages read as follows. Dear Lettie, now you see that was the Upazapaza I knew, always looking for a fight. But let me tell you how he started playing the saxophone. During the 2nd week of his stay at the reformatory, he was with a group of boys washing in one communal shower. By that time, they had tired of making fun of his fatty disposition, the layers of unattractive meat around his girth. But there was a boy, much older than him, who could not seem to remove his eyes from Upazapaza's nakedness. That boy should have not been sent to an elder prison, but had gotten away with it by lying about his age. At last, he couldn't just help himself but touch Upazapaza's bum as they were showering. Upazapaza dismissed it as an accident. But the other boy touched him again. Now the other boys were looking at the two, some of them tittering nervously. The other boy touched Upazapaza again. And that was it. Upazapaza punched him in the gut, knocking the wind out of him. The older boy came in with a punch to Upazapaza's chin. He slipped and fell onto the floor. The older boy waiting patiently for him, saying, now you've started it, Fetty Boom Boom. I'm going to fuck you with my fist and fuck you with my dick as well. And all I want are all these boys to watch. Upazapaza remembered his style of fighting that had never failed him in the school playground. He bent forward and charged like an enraged bull. He rammed his head right in the middle of the bigger boy's tummy. They collapsed on the wet floor, 2 excited ululations from the spectators. Upazapaza moved fast to pin his adversary to the ground, spitting repeatedly into his face. But then he remembered the code of the street. Winning the fight wasn't important, just as long as your enemy knew that you could fight. Anyone can win a fight. It's just the timing and the circumstances that determine it. He was about to release the adversary when one of the male teachers came running into the showering area and started caning the boys. They got up and ran out of the bathroom still naked. There was whistling and ululating from the girls' section of the reformatory on the other side of the fence. As punishment, the 2 boys were locked together in a cell. Within a day of being confined there, they were the best of friends. BQ, that was the name of the boy, was a juvenile of unrelenting delinquency who had been into institutions such as this a number of times. He had broken into shops, picked people's pockets, had forced his sister to have sex with another man for money. When we get out of this place, Upazapaza was saying, we can make a good team, you and me. There are many opportunities. We can get into cars, get into robbing dockyards. Why do you want to get into the risky stuff that can result in spilling of blood? Let's go sell bitches, said you. My man, that's the spirit, said Upazapaza. Imagination. But that kind of shit can take a lot out of you. You have to train the bitches, you have to watch them, otherwise they eat your money. When they are sick, you do not eat. Sometimes they run away or get stolen by bigger pussy paddlers. Man, look at the positive side of things, replied Hugh. Bitches bring you glamour. Have you seen how popular pimps can be? Everyone loves a pimp. I've gotten another way of attracting fame and glamour. I'm a shit hot musician. I play the saxophone and can sing too. Playfully, Big Hugh started teaching his newly found friend how to play the saxophone. They were becoming close friends. But what irritated Buzzer Buzzer was that his friend was known to bother other boys at night, crawling into their beds and doing outrages to them. But hey, thought Buzzer Buzzer, that's the price some people have to pay for finding themselves on the wrong side of the law. In the second year of his stay at the reformatory, Buzzer Buzzer was a competent saxophone player. A band had then been started with Brew as the leader. They had played on special days such as Easter, Christmas, and so on. They were also occasionally made to perform for important visitors such as magistrates and other top government officials when they made inspection visits. But disaster struck the following year. Brew was released. Suddenly, Buzzer Buzzer was alone again. His last year in prison was long. By the time he had got out, he had been in so many fights, he had lost count. His violent nature and the fact that he had outgrown the reformatory saw him being transferred to a real prison where he became a hardened fighter. He was 19 when he was finally released from jail. Can you imagine? Buzzer Buzzer went into jail when he was only 14. And remember, at that time he was accused of something that he had not done. And we've come to the end of the book review. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Instead of chatting away this time, I kind of read a few pages of the novel. I hope you guys like that. I also just so I didn't touch on the title of the novel, which is Bitches Brew. I'm not sure if you guys caught on. I mentioned quite a number of times that Zakes was a big fan of jazz. So the title is a jazz song by Miles Davis. And yeah, so please guys, subscribe, comment, like, turn on your bell icon so that I can keep you company during this time. Bye.